Welcome back everyone. One UI 2.5 actually just came out and there are some really cool changes with this specific software. Now, I will tell you, not every single device is supported currently, but a lot of them will eventually be getting this update, which is really cool. Now, if you have a Samsung Galaxy Note 20, I'm pretty sure it's already pre-installed on mostly all of them. But if you own a Galaxy S20, S20 Plus, or S20 Ultra, you can actually go and update to it right now, which is really cool. So I'll explain to you some of the top features of this specific update. Now, this is not all of them, but these are some of the ones that I saw and I'm like, wow, these are awesome. And the very first one, as a lot of you guys may already know, is wireless DeX. I'm sure you all know how DeX already is. Just got this little pop-up too. And, DeX has been around, I think, since the Galaxy S8. And before, you actually had to plug in your USB Type-C cord to the port here and then connect it to a monitor or a computer or Windows PC or whatever. And you'll be able to use the Samsung DeX experience, which I think is really cool. And hopefully more phone manufacturers start incorporating this, including Apple. And it basically allows you to kind of use your phone as a desktop experience. Now, it's not fully like Windows or anything, but it's still really cool and intuitive. And now you can actually do that wirelessly, which is really awesome. So I think the Galaxy S20 and Note 20 series are the only ones that support it, but maybe in the future, but I could be wrong about that. Now, in order to incorporate it and use it, I've done a tutorial on my second channel. All you have to do is open up DeX from your little thing right there. And as you can see at the bottom, you can see connect wirelessly, and you'll be able to see a ton of different monitors or a ton of different TVs. As long as your TV or monitor supports Miracast or you share screen capability, you'll be able to use wireless DeX and display it on those monitors without actually having to go and just connect it to your display, which I think is really cool. So that's honestly one of my favorite features about this new software, and it's honestly one of my favorite things about One UI 2.5 for sure. So wireless DeX, if you have a phone that supports it, I'd highly recommend to use it. Now the next one is actually another really awesome one, and I wasn't really too sure whether it was supported or not, but I guess it is. And this one is actually the Android 10 gestures within custom launchers. So if you use a different launcher like Nova Launcher or something like that, apparently the gestures did not work on that specific launcher, which kind of makes me wonder, what were the capability before? Did you have to actually use the home screen, have bar buttons on the bottom? And before, you actually had to go to your PC and to the ADB and actually have to, type in some code in the terminal in order to incorporate it. But now with the One UI 2.5, Samsung adds it just natively capability, which is really cool. So if you have a custom launcher, you'll be actually able to use the gestures, the full Android 10 gestures on your custom launcher, which is really cool. Now another really cool thing is actually with the keyboard, and there's a couple of different changes. So within the stock Samsung keyboard, if you actually tap on these little three dots right here, you'll see that you have, the standard capability. But now if you swipe to the side, we now have a new YouTube functionality too. So we can now actually use YouTube and search within YouTube within our keyboard, which is really cool. And you can go and tap on it just like this, and you can get content from YouTube, agree. And as you can see, it's probably going to be just like a full YouTube thing, which is really cool. And it shows you the trending page first, but you can go and search things up. And if I go and click here, you can see that it takes me there, and they type in the link right there, which is really cool. So I think that's another really awesome feature within One UI 2.5. Now this next one is honestly one of my favorite things within One UI 2.5. Wireless DeX is probably number one, but this is the second one. So let me go and hop out and let me see if I can get back in the beginning with. So as you can see, this is the standard, One UI camera launcher. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this. But now within the Pro settings for our video capability, so if I go here and if I click on Pro Video, so before I was clicking on Pro and I couldn't see it, but right here where it says Pro Video, you can click on it and you now have some really cool capability, and there's a ton of different things that are added. Now the very first thing I want you to notice is the UI itself. It looks kind of the same, but there are some really big differences. First of all, as you can see right here, the microphone quality, the microphone little levels are shown right there. So before it wasn't there, but now actually when you have that right there, it actually shows it to you, and I had to kind of make it a little bit darker so you can see it better. As you can see, that's a really cool thing, and it shows you the levels of the audio, which is really awesome. Now another really cool thing with the audio is that it allows us to have the capability of changing which audio we want to use. So in this very first section right here where it says Omni, you can go and click on it, and as you can see, we have a couple of different capabilities. So you can go and increase, I think this is the loudness of it, the decibels. So as you can see, the histogram, the little yellow bars up there went down. If I go and bring it down a little bit, you can see it goes down. So you can go and change it to however you want to, which is really cool. Now on top of that, you can also change it to whether you want just the front audio So if you don't want the rear microphones to pick up the audio, you can now change it to only the front microphones to pick up the audio, which is really cool. But also on the contrary, if you want the rear audio to be taken, you can go and do that. So if you're filming someone else, you can only basically get them talking instead of you talking. But if you want you talking and you're looking at something, you can go and use this one. Now on top of that, you also have the capability of choosing whether you want to use a USB mic or a Bluetooth microphone, which is another really awesome thing. And hopefully Apple brings this, and a lot of other, and OnePlus brings it too. I hope they really do, because this is one of my favorite things. The audio is a huge proponent of your phone quality and just the phone video quality, to be honest. Now, if you have, AirPods connected to here, or you have your Samsung Galaxy Buds or your Pixel Buds or whatever, you can go ahead and use Bluetooth audio instead of using your standard, built-in microphone on your phone. You can go and use something else with better quality, which I think is really awesome. On top of that, we also have a histogram up here, so we can go and tap on here and kind of see the quality of that. Now, this looks like a really awesome capability and a really awesome setup, especially with just a software update to get these many cool improvements. I think is one of my favorite things for sure. And it also shows you the frames per second and the resolution of your video too. As you can see, I'm filming in full HD with 30 frames per second, so that's another really cool thing. That in and of itself will make me update to One UI 2.5, to be honest. Now beyond the camera, there's a couple other settings. On the side with the edge panel, there's a little bit more capability. Instead of the standard 10 apps or 9 apps we can have here, we can now bring that up to over 20, I think. And on the top, it actually shows you your most recently used apps. So as you can see, we use the camera, Play Store, browser, and settings. So it shows me those right there. So that's always going to be above the line. But you can also customize that. If I go and hit this, I'll go and show you guys the panel, which is pretty much the same thing, but like I said, it allows you to add more apps into the side panel, which I think is another really cool thing. And I'm sure a lot of people use the edge panel all the time, and it's cool that Samsung is really looking out for that. I remember that used to only be a feature for like the most premium phones, but now, Samsung is bringing it also to a really expensive phone like the S20, but the edge panel is something that I think is underused by a lot of people, but I think is really awesome. Now there's another little option within Wi-Fi, and it's a little bit of an update, but I think it's really cool. So within your Wi-Fi settings, it'll actually show you when you're connected to a Wi-Fi, whether it's a fast or a slow Wi-Fi connection. And I think this is really cool because, you don't want to connect to a slow Wi-Fi network. So this will actually show you whether it's a fast one, it's a slow one, or if it's like a mediocre one, I think. And then you can go and connect to the fast one or the slow one. And this will actually help a lot of people out, because in a lot of the 2G and 5G networks like I have, sometimes people connect to the 2G one with slow Wi-Fi speeds and complain about it, but they haven't connected to the 5G one. So I think this will ultimately fix that little issue too. And on top of that, if you have a Samsung phone, right, which I'm probably pretty sure you do if you have One UI 2.5, and you have a friend that also has a Samsung phone and they're in your contacts, you can actually request them to send you the Wi-Fi password by just clicking request code, and there's going to be a little pop-up when you go through your initial Wi-Fi settings, and I think that's another really cool thing. So if you want to go ahead and get the Wi-Fi password without having to annoy your friends, you can just click request code and just get the Wi-Fi password that way, which I think is really awesome. And there's a couple other changes too. You can get the split keyboard within keyboard now, and another really cool thing is with PDFs, you can now actually sign PDFs and manage all of them within your phone without having to download separate apps and all that stuff. So I think that's another really cool thing as well. Being able to manage all your PDFs in one way, is a really cool thing, especially in this time. I've never had to sign more papers and more documents than now, and having the capability on a phone is really cool without having to download a bunch of different apps and stuff. So those are really some of my favorite changes within One UI 2.5. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot I haven't discussed, but for the most part, that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.